Sound delayed.
Right, let's turn that to naught.
1 2 2 2 2.
Sound delayed.
Are we getting better? We're getting slowly
1 2
better.
2 2 2.
I said 5 out of 5. Woohoo! I'll be back.
Great, 5 out of 5.
We're getting
Out of sync with you, but it sounds good.
great. 5 out of 5.
Out of sync with you, but it sounds good. Well, I mean, out of sync with you, it's not too bad.
I think the answer is I'm not going to touch any more buttons.
No, you're not.
I think, yeah, I'm just going to leave this here. That's it. So, thank you, everyone. That's the first 12 minutes of the live stream. That was all planned, of course. We decided we were going to... I've just spent 2 hours getting all this reworking, and then this failed. Toothless E-Stim nerd, yeah.
He jinxed us
He
yesterday.
jinxed it. He turned up, and that's it. Everything stopped working.
He touched
So
something.
we now have my nice little box, which I was trying to get rid of. Now it's back. So, hello everyone. Yeah, welcome to the E-Stim Systems live stream. When I do the highlights edit, I think I might be, how do I say this? Not putting that bit in, because I don't want everyone to see how incompetent I was when it comes to
it's a bit
electronics.
so fun. They all want my Easter eggs now.
Yes. Yeah, Easter eggs. We were talking about Easter eggs and E-Stim eggs. But yeah, my work is done. No, don't go. I might need you to fix it afterwards. Look, I've got lots of dials and things. What's this button do here?
Don't touch the button.
Shall we show the camera's work? Well, there's a camera there. Oh, that's a bit green.
Yeah.
There's me. Hello, me. And then we've got an over. Oh, hide that one. Yeah.
Move your phone.
I moved my phone, and the magic phone that actually saved me, so I'm just going to chuck that somewhere and put it in my pocket. Anyway, thank you everyone. We haven't done a live stream for a while. In fact, I think the last one was January with Liz, because somebody decided to get ill.
Was it my fault? Actually, no, it was my fault.
Yeah, it was your fault.
Yes, I did get poorly just before the live stream.
Stop fiddling with your knob. Thank you, Roy.
I did get a bit poorly just before the live stream. I do apologise because I know how excited everyone was to find out
We were
what
all
we're
ready
doing.
to go.
But the good news is
Quite.
I am better.
Yes.
I'm back. I'm better. I'm bigger. I'm stronger, and I'm ready to take on this one again.
Okay. So does that mean you're going to fiddle with the button?
No.
We're not fiddling with any more buttons just yet.
E-Stim nerd, I need your game because next time he fiddles the buttons, I can zap him.
Well, actually, there's a reason we need the game for a different reason. So, yes, having problems is a fact of life. It's how you deal with them afterwards and respond to the issues. I completely agree, Cren. How are we going to respond to this? I know.
I'm sorry, Dave.
Not Dave.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
At least that bit works. Anyway, yeah, so Kaz has been a little bit ill, but she's great now. She's back and firing on all cylinders.
I'm pretty much back to normal now.
Yeah. Work has been interesting and quite busy. We've actually got a show we're going to be doing in Spain next month.
Yep.
We're off to sunny Barcelona, and everyone thinks that's a holiday. No, actually, it's manic because we have to get a load of kit down there, set the show up, do the show, put it all back, and then come all the way back. And no, there's no Disney cruise in there. Sorry, Kat.
And there's also the essentials: sun hat, sun cream, swimsuit, sunglasses, Kindle.
And unfortunately, when I looked at the calendar, I realised that the next live stream clashes with it. So we might be doing a live stream from Spain.
And also, how is it when we're in Spain? Oh yeah, our anniversary.
Oh yeah.
Say nothing to that one.
Oops. I didn't plan it. It was they decided to come up with dates.
There is a Disney cruise ship in the port that
Oh
weekend.
dear. Anyway, what's been going on in E-Stim world? We are well aware of some issues over the pond, shall we say. Luckily, at the moment, we seem to be, how do I say this? Not being massively affected by tariffs. I know I said the word.
Oh, that's the word. Zap.
We are doing our best. We've just discovered today that DHL are no longer shipping to the US unless it's over $800 due to issues with...
Actually, if you read it, they're no longer shipping if it's over $800 because of the amount
No,
of...
they're doing over 800 because that's business.
All right,
I read it. The good news is we don't use DHL for the US, so at the moment it doesn't affect us. We're just a little bit concerned if the others start to say that, because that's going to cause a few issues. But anyway, we're doing our best there. We bought some new toys. We bought a new 3D printer. Where's my sign?
You pinched it off me.
Well,
Sorry, I need to have my drink. I'm not... Sorry, I have to...
Anyway, Do you like my sign? Yeah, we bought a 3D printer because Toothless E-Stim and Joanne and Co said buy a 3D printer, so we did, and we love it. And yeah, we got a little bit mad with it and come up with some new ideas, which we're not going to tell you just yet.
We've been playing with it though.
Yeah, we have been playing with the 3D printer, so yeah, signs and all sorts of things have been appearing. But if you want E-Stim products that are 3D printed, then Joanne's crew, they're the way to go. We are not intending to do 3D printed cock devices. That's basically down to Joanne and her team because they do it so well. And it's a lot harder than people think. It's not just a case of buy a printer and just press a button and it pops out. Yeah, I can do this, and that's exactly how I did it. Press a button and it pops out. But when you come to start working with ABS and then you have to do vapor smoothing, all sorts of interesting things happen. Not something I would recommend trying on your own. Just let Joanne's team at E-Stim Uporium, they've got a new website.
I know.
Go in there, buy some stuff. They also sell our products, so you can buy it from them or you could buy it from us. It's up to you. But anyway, however, we have had a few ideas, which I'll tell you about in a minute. The other things that's happening is I am currently working on some new E-Stim firmware for the 2B. Yes, after a little bit of a break, longer than I actually wished, there is some new firmware coming out for the 2B. If you want to get access to it, then you need to be a member of the forum. We have locked down the forum a little bit because we have in the UK something called the Online Safety Bill, which is to protect the children and stop people disseminating terrorist material and all that sort of stuff. There's 17 different categories. And unfortunately, small little forums like ours are potentially affected by elements of it. So we've had to lock down the access to it, so you you now have to be a member to be able to look. And there's possibly a few other changes that are going to occur once we actually got our heads around the law. The problem with lots of laws in the UK is when you actually ask the government organisations that create these laws and police them and say, okay, how do I comply? They don't know. They just tell you have to. They don't give you any advice or guidance. And it's really awkward sometimes. So anyway, possibly some changes on the forum coming. So new firmware, new forum, new changes in forum. Okay. Shall I tell them?
No. First up.
Oh. What?
Okay, first up, one thing we've been asked recently is, are we having an Easter sale?
Recently? You mean like last week because it's Easter?
Yep. If
No.
last week, are you having a sale? No, we're not having an Easter sale.
We don't do sales all the time. We don't need to.
We're not a certain furniture.
Yeah, we're not DFS. For those of you who are not in the UK, there is a furniture company called DFS. I don't care. They can sue me. And they seem to have sales all the time. In fact, if you bought something from them without it being in a sale, you're probably a bit of an idiot. So yeah, they're always having sales, and they fiddle around with the sales and go, well, this was in the sale in the last 30 days. We have sales from time to time. We decided we weren't going to have a sale at Easter. Who knows what might happen in the future? Who knows?
Join the newsletter.
Join the newsletter. Yes, if you want to know what we're doing in terms of sales, in terms of things like live streams, etc., newsletter's a good place to go, although I don't think I mentioned this one on the newsletter. Oops. But follow us on social media or follow us on YouTube. We'd love to see you on YouTube. Our followers are gradually increasing. Look, there we are. Still a few to catch up, right? It's like buying a Domino's pizza without using some kind of deal. I mean, who does that?
Buy one, get one.
Actually, I
free.
fancy pizza tonight.
Actually, I think we will have pizza.
We might get one later.
Thanks, Joe. Pizza for Tuesday.
Yeah, Kren, if you can send us what the codes are you use, then we'll look at that.
Okay.
But look, sometimes people think that we have to give sales out, and sometimes it's a little bit awkward when people are like, well, when are you doing the sale? Well, firstly, we don't tell you in advance because it's a surprise. And then they get a bit irate when you say, I'm not doing a sale. Well, you should. I'm buying 2 things. Well, so?
Yeah, 2 cables.
Yeah, I've got to pay my staff who all want pay rises and things. Anyway, so can I tell them?
Tell them what? Well, the first thing, I think we need to say thank you to somebody first.
Yes, and he's here.
We do actually need to say thank you to somebody because
Yes.
we actually had a really lovely message
Kren,
or email.
I'm blaming you for this, but yes, I would like to thank Kren from the bottom of my heart and from my team.
As an abbreviation, because
Kaz
it
is
was
now
quite
gonna-
a message.
It was a long mess, and the printer in here doesn't work properly.
So-
It tried to print it and it just chewed it up.
Okay. But Kren has just message, thank you Kren, to say that Kren would like to give a shout out to all of us at the E-Stim Systems team.
And it's not just me and Cass, there are others. There's
For
Kay,
some great
who answers the phone.
customer service in relation to some recent repairs on our control units. The service was excellent, and from contact to repair, they were done in a timely manner. Now, you're very welcome, Kren. And as you discovered, and as our customers might be, as some of you watching this may or may not be aware, our control units do have a lifetime guarantee. So no matter how old your unit is, providing you are the original purchaser, it's covered by our lifetime guarantee. All you have to do is just drop us a friendly email with a brief description as to what is wrong with the unit, your serial number, and if you have a proof of purchase. And then we can go about issuing you a returns number and how to get it back to us. There may be a small administration fee. Unfortunately, can't do much about that.
That basically
Especially
covers the shipping if it's older than a year.
If it's older than a year. And yeah, so basically we do offer a lifetime guarantee. The only thing we do ask though is please don't send us anything back until you've contacted us.
Oh yes.
Our goods in department do get quite a few deliveries a day, and the reason we ask for a repairs reference to be put on the box is to make sure that your box doesn't end up in the box with all the cables or all the pads or anything that's coming in with the supplies. We want to make sure your repair gets to the repairs team. And then we do deal with it, as Craig can vouch for us, in a timely manner. We try our best. We say about 5 to 7 days because it does take time.
Yeah, the answer to that, I got asked this the other day.
It's about 5 to 7 days these days because it does take time.
We don't actually define it. Someone asked me and I said 7 to 10 days and they're like, oh, I thought it was a week. And it's like, it's not really defined. We basically, the repairs come in, they go to our engineers, it might be me, it might be Sharon.
Who's that?
It's looked at and we do the repair. And that then fits in with what we're doing throughout the day.
And then we try and get the repairs back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, and then we try and get it back to you as fast as we can.
Because we are aware you want to play with your toys some more, so we don't want you to be away from your precious toys.
Kren liked the follow-up as well.
You like the follow-up as well? That's good.
Was that you or was that Kay? It might have been Kay.
That might have been Kay did the follow-up.
Kay tends to do the follow-ups. So you've had some experience of all the team.
But you're more than welcome, and thank you so much for that feedback.
Thank you for that. And your questions were quite interesting as well, which we're going to come on to. But I want to show my things. I'm going to try pressing a button now.
Don't press any buttons.
Right, get those around there.
If we go off the air, we know why.
Or it starts snowing.
It's snowing now.
It's snowing. Right, we are now going to go to the overhead camera.
Can we turn the snow off, please?
Can we turn the snow off? It will go off, there we are. So,
3D printer.
3D printer. What happens when you get an E-Stim designer with a 3D printer? Actually, I'm going to hide those bits first. And the answer is he starts to design things.
And Roy,
show us your thing.
And Roy, you're going to
you are going to love this.
You're going to love this.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is not yet a product. This is something that
It is a concept.
It's a concept. And actually, I'm going to go back to the main camera. We tend not to let people know about new products purely and simply because we see too many companies, like certain ones in the States. They'll tell you about a product, they'll even take your money, and 3 years later, they still haven't provided the product. So, drum roll, spikes.
Yes, Roy, spikes.
Is he looking through the table? So we came up with something that has spikes. And yes, Roy, ladies and gentlemen, this, switch to overhead camera. In fact, I'm going to have to zoom in. This is where it all goes wrong. Let's zoom in there. Is an E-Stim flange base with spikes. In fact, I'll take the unclippy bit off. There we are. So as you can see, there are a series of spikes. Toothless E-Stim nerd. Right, I am out of here. Does super source work? Ah, it does. Look. So this is basically a 3D printed ring with a little clip on it. There we are. So that's a normal flange. And then we have a ring with the spikes on, and you clip them over. And now you have an E-Stim electrode with spikes. So the first question is, apart from the fact that Toothless E-Stim nerd has just run out of the room, is Do we like this idea? Because this is something that we could potentially do. Equally, it's something that I could potentially just release as an STL file. Someone grab Stuntcock, don't let him leave, and fetch the wire loop game. Turn the helix up to max, we'll give it a test. Spikes, yay.
Comfy spikes, I might add, because it's on the base. So if you sit down, you get extra spikes.
Yes. I will confess that the first version of this did have some issues. The spikes were too spiky. Yeah, we've discovered what the optimum spike is. And it has a little tiny little dome on the top, because if you have a completely sharp point, you end up with blood and things, which I know some people would enjoy. Lots of spikes. So yeah, let's go back to I'll go back to Super Source. There we are. So these are, there we are. Yeah, that's spikes. Get it right a bit. Now, that's the first thing.
And then we decided to have a bit more fun.
We then went a bit mad and went, okay, this is E-Stim Systems. We electrify things. And the problem with this is it's not electrically conductive. It's just 3D printed. It's PLA, actually.
It's spiky.
It's spiky for sensation. Yes, it's spiky, not zappy. So, do you want to see what we came up with? No, they don't. No, there's nobody's come up and said yes.
We do have more. Would you like to see what else is coming?
No, I don't think they do. No, shall I just refresh the chat just in case?
Oh, just chat hasn't flashed. Have we crashed?
No, we haven't crashed.
Oh, what we got in?
Wait. Oh dear. Waits for the decimator one.
That can be arranged.
Okay.
Joanne says yes.
Yes. Right. What we came up with is the E-Stim equivalent of spikes. And these are E-Stim spikes.
Or they will be.
Or they will be. These are actually 3D printed, so these don't actually do anything at the moment because they're made of plastic. We are going to try running these through one of the machines to produce an aluminium version, which means that if you take a 4mm cable, there you are, there's one, they actually have a little 4mm hole in the end, show the camera, and plug in a 4mm socket, plug in a 4mm plug into them, you now end up with two conductive, because they'll be made of aluminium, spiky pucks. I'm calling them electro pucks at the moment. So if these were on the ground or on a seat and you sit on them, you're going to get some interesting things. Toothless E-Stim Nerd, no. Rachel Parker, yes. Joanne, nice. Toothless E-Stim Nerd, I think you're losing out at the moment, because I think at the moment the ladies have it. Yeah, I'm worried as well. Spectacular.
Do we have to? Well, we do actually test the products ourselves as well.
Yes, we do, which is why next week these will be going onto the machine to try and actually make some.
Yep.
And then you'll be testing them.
So you. What's that? Spectacular.
Pucktacular. Pucks, as in PUK. So yeah, if people are interested in these, then it's something that I think we could potentially look at actually doing. To attach them to the skin, you'd probably need to use some form of medical tape, because they're not. They're just discs of metal. If you really want to have it nice and smooth, then you can use the smooth side. If you want it spiky, then you can use it on the spiky side. And I think the whole point is spiky.
Spiky, zappy.
Toothless E-Stim Nerd likes the smooth side. Yes, I do as well. I think the smooth side's much more refined.
No, spiky.
Yes, no, we're definitely much more refined.
Zappy.
Spiky, zappy. There's also the possibility we can make them in different sizes. So we can do up to, well, actually, technically, we can do up to 4-inch diameter, which is a bit big for these. But I can vouch for the spikiness being very spiky. God knows what they're going to feel like when they're actually...
Zappy.
Stretchy strap would work for some areas. Yep. I think it's one of those things that we'll potentially look at ideas and...
Tucked into some rope will help. Oh, what's Cren put?
Design loop on the back, a little like the saddle that Joanne made, so you could put a loop of material to hold them in place, or even just a ridge on each side. Yes and no, because of the way we manufacture them. There's potential issues doing that, because we've got to machine both sides, and then it starts to get rather complex and rather expensive to make. And it's great when I say, yeah, these tiny little things, they're gonna cost you like £70, which would be massively excessive. So we're looking at ideas. We have a few.
You never know. By the next live stream, we might have a prototype.
You never know. I mean, this is the first time we've ever shown an idea, a concept, before we've even really tested it ourselves.
We tested the spikes.
Yeah, the spikes definitely work. Whether they work when they're electrified, yeah, they're probably going to hurt like hell. So it's that you are now seeing how E-Stim Systems works in terms of design. These are manufactured on our 3D printer. They were based on a design that was completely non-E-Stim. It was something else that we were working on, a personal project, shall we say. So these, are we actually going to make them and produce them? Who knows? I think the first thing is, can we actually do it? Do some aluminium
we'll
ones.
Have a word with the engineering team next
We'll talk
week.
to engineering. We'll make a few. We might ping a few people and send a few out and say, tell us what you think. What do you like? What you don't like? And the fact that we don't have massive numbers of viewers on here means that there's a few people out there who might be getting a few of these just to play with.
Lots of isn't it?
It's great to see inside the design concept process.
Yeah.
Where's my...
We have a box of doom down there.
I'm looking for my black book.
Oh, your book.
Oh, my book.
I will go.
If you actually want to know
I'll be back in a minute.
how the process really works, let's go back to main camera. Yes, you notice my little assistant has disappeared.
Now, it's Sunday, so behave.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the book. This is the book that I write virtually all of my ideas and plans into. And yeah, it's a bit battered, and there's lots of bits of paper in there. But that's how my ideas start. Piece of paper, pencil, thinking about something, sketching it. And then we get on to 3D printing or just modelling. And who knows what might happen in the future, whether they come out like this or whether they come out something else. That's the way it works. But we thought we'd come up with something completely different to what we normally do and give you a little bit of insight as to how we do it. So who knows? Who knows? Anyway,
Coming soon to an E-Stim store.
coming soon to an E-Stim Systems near you. All good stockists. Anyway, we got some questions.
I
Oh,
evicted
no.
the goldfish.
The poor old goldfish got drowned.
Tigger got it.
Yeah, the cat ate it.
Yeah, cat's eating it.
Right. Can I? No, well, you filled it up. I want to unfill it.
Okay. You've got to answer them.
No. That was the answer.
I really need your game, Joanne.
We'd stock them. Yes, we've already got a stockist.
I need your game, Joanne, because this one's being a bit cheeky, so I think it's had too much chocolate.
I haven't had any. It is Easter.
Yeah, no.
And all the shops are shut, so I can't buy more chocolate. My partner and I are looking at purchasing some E-Stim. What would you recommend? I've just realised what we forgot to do today. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll tell you about that in a minute.
Yeah.
My partner and I are looking at purchasing some E-Stim. What would you recommend as an ideal couple starter kit? Electro Pebble,
Yep.
or some version of it. So Electro Pebble XP...
XPE or
XPE,
XPF.
it's Easter. XPE has Electro Pebble, some cock loops, and an Electro egg.
Don't try eating the egg, though.
Yeah, the egg is definitely unedible.
The egg is not just for Easter.
Eggs are not just for Easter. You're trying to see what's written over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, Electro Pebble is very close to being one of our top sellers. I mean, the 2B each month, the Electro Pebble sort of do this on the sales charts.
Okay, this is one that's come from
Oh, this is a Kren
This
question.
is a Kren one.
Right,
So,
okay.
Crest,
Are
Kren,
we all sitting down? This could take
as I
some
work my
time.
way through your email missive, can you explain the main difference between a single and double channel unit, and also the difference between a 2-channel and a two isolated channel unit?
Okay, channels.
Got to look. Corinne says you've got to look down the camera for this one.
I got to look down the camera. In fact, hold on. Magic button time.
Close up and Wayne. That's it. You've got to look down the camera.
Looking down the camera. Can I do the what's his name? The Taken thing. I have a unique set of skills. I can't remember the rest of the speech, but it was really good. I'll go back to the camera. So I look straight down that camera now. I have a unique set of skills, and I will now make sure. I will have to see you. They're copying this already. Anyway, right, channels. Right, power boxes have channels. E-Stim power boxes have channels. Now, each channel has 2 conductors coming out. So if I actually use... This is our standard 4mm plug. Right, that's a 3.5mm plug. They're the 4mm connectors, but this plugs into the power box, and this is a mono jack socket. So there is one contact there and one contact there. Going to the plugs, there's one contact here and one contact there. Now, if you remember your basic physics, science, home economics, anything like that at school, in order for current to flow, you need to have 2 contact points. It completes a circuit. So if you think of a battery, you have a plus and a minus. 9-volt battery, you have a plus and minus on the top. Don't lick 9-volt battery, it's bad for you. But you need to have 2 points of contact coming out of that box, which then connect to your human, which then feels that sensation. So the circuit is complete. So it comes out of the box, goes into the human, comes back out of the human, goes into the box. Some people get slightly confused because they talk about positive and negative, which is a little bit of a misnomer on E-Stim boxes because we use AC, alternating current, which means that the positive and negative flip over from time to time as part of the design. So you have a channel. Now, a channel can be connected to an electrode, like so, or can be connected to 2 electrodes, like so, 2 monopole electrodes. So if you think sticky pads, you need 2. That gives you your contact. So I put it on my arm or buttock or in a thigh, and I'll feel it around that area. That's one channel. 2 channels gives you the ability to do it in somewhere else, some other place. So you end up with 2 contacts, 2 contacts. And if I switch the overhead camera, there you are. So this is one channel.
One output.
One channel, 2 channels. So I could have this on pulse, for instance, if I was using a 2B, and this on continuous. I can do all sorts of interesting things. Now, the big thing is, go back to my main camera, with a 2-channel box, there are effectively 2 variations out there in the big wide world. They are what we call isolated and non-isolated. Now, when we talk about safety on E-Stim, and I'm not going to go into a safety rant here, one of the things we try and avoid is putting current across the chest. Because in here, somewhere, which is somewhere around there, is our heart, and it runs off electricity. And putting current through your heart is not a great idea unless you're a medically qualified EMS and you're giving someone CPR and zapping them to turn them into Frankenstein. You know what I mean. So we try and avoid putting current across the chest. Now, if you've got a single channel box, so here we are, here's one contact, here's the other. The only time that's going to be an issue is if I start doing things like this, or this. Not a good idea. Or this. Okay? If you stick below the waist, no issues. But these are your 2 contact points. Now, if I have an isolated unit, an isolated 2-channel box, there's a little bit of electrical magicry inside, where basically it means these 2 contacts and these 2 contacts never touch inside the box. If you've got a box that has 2 channels and is not isolated, it actually means there is the potential for a contact between the 2 channels internally into the box. Which, for us, like my overhead camera today, so if you think this is this is a 2B, isolated channels. If I now go on to the electrode pebble, we've got this. So you've got an output, and a shared common. So even though you think you've got these 2 connectors, 1 channel, 2 channel, they actually share a common in the middle. Now that is a box that has non-isolated channels. Effectively, it actually has triphase built into the box, which is one of the reasons why we actually have it on the electrode pebble, because it can generate some very interesting sensations.
So is that why you sometimes feel more on one than the other?
Yes. On an electropebble, because you have these two output channels, there is some interaction between them. So if you say, for instance, do that, disconnect one of them, so you've got one channel and you've got another conductor connected, you are still going to feel some sensation. It gets very complex as to trying to work out how it works. The easiest thing is just to try it and see what works for you and what doesn't. The main thing is don't have everything fully up.
What's Roy saying?
Voltiana. No, I'm not saying that. Actually, I will say that because everyone else can see it. Roy Hat is surprised. Roy is suggesting that you stick some of these to a paddle. And yes, only saying that for the look on Wayne's face when she hands me the paddle for use on her bottom. Yes, I love that idea, Roy. But if you mean for me, then I have to.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
I love my little buttons.
Roy, I like the idea.
I don't.
I quite like the idea of spiky paddle.
She does. So fundamentally, channels is what comes out of a box. A two-channel box can either be isolated or non-isolated. An isolated box generally tends to be safer for play if you're going to play above the waist. And you end up with not a lot of interaction between the two channels, which is why we have a triphase cable for a 2B, because we're effectively we're bypassing that isolation to give you triphase, where the electropebble already has the triphase built in. And yes, Crane, that's the reason why using electropebble on nipple clips is not a good idea, because we basically say it's not a great idea. You can technically do it, but you have to ensure that the grounds actually effectively face each other, because you then end up with net going up, down, and the ground is bridging the space between the two. But it's one of those, it just gets really complex and you're increasing a risk that you don't need to. There's plenty of other places in the world, in the body, to play with. So why increase risk? And E-Stim is all about trying to maintain a safe play environment, and safe for everyone, not just you as the person zapping, but all of us enjoying it.
Mm-hmm. Right. My hand in the magic box again.
Well, 2B with fully isolated channels, that's fine. Because
well, you've just answered that one, which is about the Eclipse. So.
Oh, was that Eclipse on an
okay.
electropebble? So yes, isolated channels means the channels are physically separate. It doesn't necessarily mean to say there isn't any interaction between the channels, because, for instance, a 2B, some of the modes on a 2B actually use both channels. So you end up with a pulse on that channel, and then it'll go and pulse on that channel. So there is an interaction between the two. And the next question that always crops up, and in fact it's related to the piece of paper that Kaz has just pointed in front of me, is what about having more than one channel? As in, can I have 4 channels? And we are aware of at least 2 boxes out there which have 4 channels. One of whom is a relatively recent newcomer to the industry, despite the fact that it's taken them 3 years to get there. The other one tends to be a Zeus 10Z acupuncture unit, which is really quite nasty and looks horrible. And when you look at it inside, it's like, just don't, not a great product, in my personal opinion. And I've been doing this for 21 years now.
Yes, 21 years this year.
Yes, 21 years this year. So having more than one channel, let's say 4 channels, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Other people have done it. The question I've always got is, how do you want these other channels to interact? Or do you want them to interact? You could get 4 channels by just having 2 2Bs. So the question here is it possible to use 2 2Bs together to generate more fun? And the answer is yes. They're isolated units.
We actually know someone who uses 6.
Yeah, one of our followers actually uses 6, which is more than we use. It's just going to end up with lots and lots of wires everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could use... Tiflis E-Stim there just keeps doing this every so often. You can use as many 2Bs as you wish because they're isolated. And in
Have
fact,
you got a question, Toothless Nerd? Or is it, can you have more spikes?
maybe he wants to go to the toilet. No,
Please,
not
miss.
to the end of the live stream.
Please, miss, she's zapping me again.
So if you're looking at something, if you're asking, can I do an E-Stim box with 4 channels? And I know Kren's asked this in his missive. It's something that I've looked at quite a few times. The problem I've always got is, how do you want these 4 channels to work? Do you just want 2 2Bs stuck together and put in the same box? So you've now got 4 controls. Or do you want something a little bit more sophisticated where the channels talk to each other? And the running 2 2Bs, yep, you can do that now. You can just get 2 2Bs off the shelf while your subject are, or 3 2Bs and a helix and an electropedal. You can do all these things because they're all battery powered, so the isolation is already there. The question is, do you want them now to be able to talk to each other and sync? So if you're running a pulse mode on a 2B, do you want the pulse to go from that channel to that channel and then jump to the other box and then that channel and that channel? So you have the pulses syncing and talking to each other. That's something that I'm definitely looking at, because that, to me, that's something that I would want if I've got a box that's got multiple channels.
You've just got that scene from Barbarella in your head.
Yes. So if I'd said this properly, I'd press the button. But yes, the Orgasmatron is probably one of the machines that I most ever I always wanted to create.
You've been promising me it for 21 years.
Yeah, well, it was in the 60s. It takes a while to create these things. But yeah, doing multiple boxes, there's always something more that we could do. But there's also more complexity to a lot of these ideas. So it's, okay, if you want 4 channels, do you just want 4 controls? 1 for each channel? Or do you want to be able to control that in a different mode and that in a different mode, and then those go up and those go down, and those 2 sync but those 2 don't sync? Well, actually, I want those 3 channels on that mode and that channel on audio. You can go completely mad.
And you're waffling now.
And I'm a little bit. You're getting hungry. Oh, my Mac has just closed. Syncing, right? What's Kren said? Syncing. That's the plus point. Looking at the one I mentioned in the email. But then there's one master dial. Yeah, I mean, yeah, having 4 controls and then a master, it's doable. I mean, the honest answer is, yeah, it can be done. The problem we always have with everything is we have to look at the larger side of things. Could I build a 4-channel box with a master control? Yeah, it can be done. It has been done. Then you get into the, well, I didn't want 4. I wanted it to be able to do this, this, and this. And you're just like, I've spent all this time doing this box, and now I've got to create something for somebody else. And people don't realise how long it takes to develop new products. Even something simple like this. I mean, this is probably a couple of hours so far on a 3D printer. It's probably going to cut a couple of days in engineering to do the prototypes. Then we've got to test them. Then we've got to look at production, marketing, instructions.
Are they too spiky?
Are they too spiky? Are they going to cause issues? What happens when people try and stick them together and then go, they don't work? Or there's all sorts of things. So even something as simple as that takes a few weeks to develop to the level of actual production. And we've got 6 or 7 projects on at the go. And that's before you start to think about
And we've got shows as well.
firmware for 2Bs and dealing with day-to-day stuff. And that's simple to use during a session. Just 1 dial to turn up the tester. Yeah, it is, but I still tend to find that I'm doing this on controls. So yes, we sort of get to there, and then you go up like that, and then like that. But I'm still tweaking individually. I mean, we have one on the 2B where you've got the join control. You can actually create the separation between the 2. And then just use channel A, and it brings channel A and B up at the same rate. So say, for instance, if you've got join set, and you set 10% on channel A and 20% on channel B, if you've now got join on, if you increase channel A by 5%, channel B will go up by 5%. So you've got an element of being able to do that now by using the join control. So set up the differential, switch the join control on, and now you just need to use channel A to control them. Yeah, economy of scale, prototyping, fishing, in a relatively small pond with bespoke products are the best of time. Yeah, people don't actually realise how big the market is. I mean, we work in the worldwide environment now. we sell around the world, and we sell hundreds of units. I mean, yeah, if you said that I was going to be doing this 20 years ago, I'd be like, nah, sell 10, 20. No, we sell quite a few. And yet the development, it takes time. And we then have to listen to feedback. I say have to listen to feedback. That sounds really negative. We love feedback. We listen to feedback. Is it good? Is it bad? If it's bad feedback, what can we do to address that? What can we do to improve that product? And that cycle just keeps going. And that cycle continues even once we've actually produced the unit. 2B is currently on 14D version. The Electro Pebble, there's another version being looked at the moment because there's a couple of tweaks we'd like to do to it. A lot of it is tweaking for internal production as opposed to major changes that you would see as a customer. But it's something that we do constantly, and we've got 130 odd SKUs, so individual items that we're constantly looking at, as well as doing production and going to Barcelona for shows and various other things, and answering questions and doing live streams.
And try not to get ill.
And try not to be ill. Do we have another question?
I think we've got one more.
Oh, we have one more.
I think this is the last one. I like the look of the electro ring system. How do I know for sure which size loop I need to buy?
You forgot the tape measure.
We
didn't
forgot
you?
the tape measure.
Electro ring system. How do you know which size loop to buy? The answer is use a tape measure or a piece of paper, wrap it around.
Hang on a minute.
Do we have?
I'll get stunt cock.
We have stunt cock.
We have
This is the point where I now get banned from YouTube. So, piece of paper, wrap it around in the place where you would normally put it, mark it with your finger, and measure that. That is the diameter.
What's the circumference?
Sorry, that is the circumference. And do you know how to convert to diameter?
We use pi.
Use pi. If you don't know how to convert from diameter to a circumference to a diameter, then just Google it. But it's divide by pi, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, pi d. Divide by pi, 3.14. And that will give you a rough size.
Before YouTube banners.
Before YouTube banners, it will find that you rang. So, yeah, that's the question. Does anyone out there have any questions? Yeah, you'll notice that I didn't manage to get the bit that pops up at the bottom working because I thought I'd keep everything really simple. And that's why I was actually using these little radio mics and not these big hulking great big ones on here.
And you broke it.
And I then broke it, and I'm going to listen to the live stream afterwards and go, what on earth was going on? I think we had some issues also with YouTube because that repeating weird bit was...
That wasn't us, because
That
when we
wasn't
unplugged
us.
it, ours.
Because it was still doing it when we unplugged. So, anyway.
I think we've covered all the questions.
Yeah, Kren. Circumference is pi times the diameter. So yeah, if you divide the circumference by pi, you'll get the diameter in millimeters.
Yeah.
And that's what we define the inside of a ring. So piece of paper, or if you've got a tape measure, use a fabric tape measure. Don't use one of those sharp metal things. Although Kren will probably go, ooh, sharp metal things.
Oh yeah, nice metal tape measure. Yeah, yep.
So anyway...
I should have held on with me.
I think we've been rabbiting. I know we lost the first 15 minutes because couldn't get something to work. And I don't know what the audio's been like, but it's been interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, everyone. In fact, I'm going to press a button. That one. There we are. Don't forget, if you're not following us, even that's broken. That was working earlier. Depressed. I know why that doesn't work.
It's because you fiddled.
I fiddled,
You
and then I had to reset. No, it's because I turned that off and had to reset
Yeah.
everything. So it's all going to be
Is there
super
anything
duper
we missed
loud.
off of this?
Is there anything off the list?
Oh, false advertising.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay.
We've saved the best bit
Yeah.
till last.
We had a complaint this week. We got accused of false advertising. Evidently, what I post on the store site, very important. Audio's been fine after the initial glitch. We haven't gone yet. You've got to stay and listen to this bit.
This makes me
Don't
giggle.
disappear. Evidently, suggesting that E-Stim provides pleasurable sensations is a statement of fact. Well, actually, I believe it is. But basically, we got accused of false advertising and being threatened with all sorts of reporting to the Advertising Standards Authority to suggest that me stating that the 2B was a box capable of doing this, that, and the other was completely wrong, because basically the person who bought it didn't like it.
Don't like it.
And then after saying they didn't like it, they then started demanding refunds. And it's like, it's a sex toy. Really? You don't get to refund under the Consumer Credit, I can't remember the act now, Consumer Something Act 2015.
My bag's empty, can I have a refund, please?
Yeah, my bag is empty, can I have a refund? We can't do refunds just because you don't like something. Of course we can do a refund if something is faulty. Generally we'd like to try and repair it first, but if it's faulty, then yes, of course, if it's faulty, you can have a refund. But just because you don't like it or your partner doesn't like it, doesn't classify as a reason to give you a refund, even if you start threatening us. So, yes, that was an interesting conversation. Anyway, thank you for watching. They're all going to disappear now. I'm going to watch that graph go meow. The next live stream might not be at the end of the month, because we'll be in Barcelona.
I'm just trying to work out how, 24, 25.
I already did it.
Yeah, we're in Barcelona.
So there's a possibility we might do the live stream from the hotel in Barcelona.
We could do it from Barcelona. Show everyone the view.
Show everyone the view from the hotel over the conference centre.
Is that when we sit by the pool with cocktails?
Yes, no, we won't be doing it from the pool and the cocktail. So anyway, thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you for putting up with the calamitous start. I will not be fixing anything.
Have a fabby Easter. Don't eat too much chocolate.
Yeah. Have a fantastic Easter. Don't eat too much chocolate. But whatever you do, please be safe and have fun. And Kren and Roy and Dave, please keep the ideas coming, because we love them. And yeah. Anyway, I'm now going to see.
I'm going to frame your email.
She's framing the email. You think we're joking?
That's something we can do next time.
What? Frame the email?
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for being with us, and have a safe one. Bye.